and welcome to yet another Session 0 of WRECKS, the all-barred, low-stakes, high role-playing campaign where all the world's a stage and everyone here is definitely a player. So we have a bit of a treat this week for, as our cast was preparing for their new show, which I believe is called All That's Left, they were recently informed that their time spent with the Sealy Court last week went so well that the Sealy Court went and gifted the WRECKS with some sort of extravagant present. And real quick, we are going to discover what that gift is. But first, let us join our cast for starring tonight. We have the Construct with the most constructive music, Guy Automata. We have the Madam of Fortune herself. That's right, Madam Fortuna.
Greetings.
We have the man who is in the backstage and at your back door. That's right, stage manager Jenk Holliston. And the artist from the astral plane, Zaliala Zanalalia, or as I like to call her, Zan. Bit of a Sailor Moon vibe. And don't worry, folks, you didn't miss anything, because premiering tonight are the daring daredevils of Sky and Feather. That's right, none other than Gaga and Gusto Dagu.
Booyakasha and other goose-based greetings to you.
Excellent. So, you guys have just finished up rehearsals for the All That's Left play, and it's going all right. It could be better. When you have just received word that the Sealy Court has delivered their gift, and I mean, you guys definitely want to check it out. So most of you go to leave the Goat Theater, which is a wonderful open-air amphitheater that almost seems to span the globe itself. Jenk, you are the quickest, most fleet-footed person, so you are the first out the door. The rest of you, as you're getting ready to go, stop, because something strange begins to happen. See, there is a rumble of thunder within the open amphitheater, yet the sky above is clear. I need everybody except Guy to give me a stealth roll, please. And Guy is suddenly gone. It looks like Guy was the stealthiest of them all. And I believe we have lost Madame Fortuna as well. All right. So, Zan, Gusto, and Gaga, the three of you, thunder is rumbling in the amphitheater. The wind is blowing. It's as if a storm is brewing right above the stage. So the three of you quickly secret yourself away in some quick hiding place. There is a flash of lightning, a swirl of wind, and floating just above the stage, looking around at the empty amphitheater, is none other than a woman. Her eyes shine like moonlight, and her dark hair floats about her as if it were dancing upon the waves of the astral sea. Her skin is as pale as bone, and her fingers twitch with an eldritch and magical fury. She glances around at the seemingly empty theater, and she says, "You disappoint me, you saucy and overbold construct. Come forth and face me." Does anybody do anything?
Yeah, Gusto says, hello, Gander lady. How you doing?
And Hecate, goddess of witches and warlocks alike, looks down upon you, Gusto and Gaga da Goose, and says in a voice that seems to vibrate through the very theater itself, "Who are you? You're not who I'm looking for."
Yeah, as Gusto said, we assumed not because we don't know who you are either. But
I am Hecate, goddess of witches and warlocks alike,
Okay.
master of magics and mischief, and I have come for the construct that is known as Guy, I think it's pronounced.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys at the theater. I don't think
I am not looking for a guy. I am looking for the guy.
Yeah, madam, please. The show hasn't started yet, but if you take your seat, when is the show starting?
And her voice booms and thunder cracks, and she says, "I am not here for any of your shows." Guy, are you brave enough to step forward, Guy, or do you stay hidden?
I will go see what this is. Hello, I am Guillaume Automata du Fait Sauvage. Who am I talking to?
Guy Automata, I am your goddess, Hecate. I have come because you have dared to trade and traffic with the Fae.
Ooh, you must have heard about what I did.
Of course.
You tell me.
I am close personal friends with Puck. You have dared to mock the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all your harms.
Well, if you want Puck, I think you want our costume.
I don't know. I said I was friends with Puck. I have come for you. You were created to use the glory of your art to manipulate wayward sons of the mortal realm to mine own ends. Instead, you dared to entrap my own kind and incur my spite and wrath.
Oh, I thought I was getting a wish.
So you call the Puck a liar, then?
I have not heard what he has accused me of.
And what of you, you Arceran fools? Have you come merely to make an arse of yourselves, or do you stand beside this construct in his follies?
Yeah, as Gusto said, first off, it's pretty disrespectful to call people you don't know idiots. Second off, don't even know who you are. Honestly, you're very rude. Guy's very nice guy, very nice construct, but you're still being really rude, so I don't think we are going to talk to you.
Hearing all this, I step out and I just go, "You are so beautiful."
Yes, I know. And you are also equally as good looking. You must not be of this realm, but I have not come for you, nor for the foul-mouthed geese, though your time will come, Gusto da Goose.
Yeah, as Gusto said, the time is on the flyer, the show will start, but you said you don't want a show, so now what's the deal about time?
The only show I am here for is the demise of Guy. Is it Guy or Guy? Guy or Guy?
It's Guillaume Automata du Fait Sauvage, as you can say that 3 times.
Guy! You must make amends before your queen. Get you gone to the vessel of spells and charms. You are for the air this night. A dismal and fatal end awaits, lest you conduct your business of distilling my magical sleights into your artificial sprites, and by the strength of their illusion, draw confusion within mortal hearts.
Excuse me, ma'am. I don't mean to interrupt, but do you kiss a lot of donkeys? Because your breath is awful.
With a sudden clap of her hands, Gaga, you are rendered mute. Can I get everyone to give me a perception roll, please?
9.
Gaga, though you can tell no one about it, you and Zan are the only two people who suddenly hear a song, as if far away on the wind. Come away, come away. There is another crash of lightning, and the goddess Hecate suddenly announces, "Hark! I am called, my little construct. Do not disappoint me again, or I will come to collect." Fog begins to roll out from Hecate's flowing hair until the entire theater is filled with it. And then, with a gust of wind, the fog is gone, and so is Hecate, leaving only the four of you. Gaga, your voice has returned.
What was that about?
It was amazing. I don't know, but I loved it. I hope she comes back.
Yeah, I kind of liked it too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, really nice. I'd like to get to talk to her a little bit more, know a little bit more about her.
Yeah, Gusto says it's good to get some action around here. Honestly, it's pretty cool.
And at that, we have had enough of the Goat Theater as the four of you finally head outside, joining Madame Fortuna and Jenk, who have been waiting and wondering where you guys went. Because less than a block from the Goat Theater is the Drains River. And as you walk down the street and approach the drains, you see down a flight of wooden stairs, and at the end of an old water-rotted dock is a ship, almost 100 feet long, with an ancient and impressive tree growing out of the aft deck. And waiting before the ship is none other than the bard himself. And as he sees the six of you approach, he claps his hands as if he were applauding himself, and he says, "My dearest WRECKS, my West Rend entertainers, you have pleased me so, for you have pleased the queen of the summer court, Titania, and she's given us a gift. Come. You've got to see this."
Are they paints? Are they paintbrushes?
No, it's the ship. See?
Oh, it's lovely.
And it is an impressive ship. So you guys are welcome to board the ship, which you are informed by the bard is named none other than the Wild Wind.
What exactly are we to do with the ship? Not to look a gift horse in the mouth, but
Well, we do what we always do. We entertain. Yes, a ship is really just a floating stage. You will go out amongst the waves, but wait. And he suddenly rushes on to the ship, and you kind of lose him because the ship itself has like a big tree growing out of it, and there's vines and leaves. But then he suddenly appears at like the helm of the ship, and he's doing something, but you can't quite see what. And suddenly, thick wings unfurl from the base of the ship. For you see, he says, this is not merely a ship for water. This is a sky ship.
That's amazing. I'm so excited.
Yes, he's feeling your energy, and at the very least, he's got his own energy. Like he imagines there's fireworks around him and stuff like that. So we are going to, well, not me. I'm not going to because I have stuff to do. I run the company. But you, my dearest WRECKS, you are going to take to the skies this afternoon for today is none other than the Skyhog Festival, where the richest of the rich of West Drunden take to the clouds in their sky yachts, and they, like all others, wish to be entertained. So, one of you will captain the wild wind, you will sail into the clouds themselves, and you will shine brighter than any of the stars in the heavens. Come, suit yourselves. So you're given free reign of the ship. Who looks at what, or who does what?
Jake inspects all of the wood from stern to whatever the opposite of stern is.
Can you give me a perception or investigation roll, please?
I got a 13 on perception.
Yes. So, as you are inspecting the wood, you see that the boat is not only made of wood, it seems as if the entire boat was grown from the roots of the tree that is on the aft deck. The deck itself is made of braided roots, and the mast is nothing more than a thick branch of the tree. The sails and rudders are made of thick leaves, and there is even a ballista that sports a 3-foot-long thorn that you think might actually be capable of firing forth from what appears to be this living ship.
Seems quite impressive. Great handiwork at whoever made this. I don't quite get the ballista, but safety first, I believe.
And what of the rest of you? You've got the run of a ship. Where do you go?
I will go straight for the steering wheel.
All right. And as you rush to the helm, there doesn't appear to be a steering wheel. You might have to... Why don't you give me an investigation roll? Madam Fortuna, what are you thinking?
Well, I would like to poke around below decks and sort of see if there are any enchantments or you know what is sort of stocked down below decks.
Excellent. So below deck there are 2 levels. You find that there is a crew deck, which consists of a mess hall where fruits and vegetables are actually growing from the tables themselves. Yeah. And then there are crew quarters with beds made of moss and hammocks made of vines. There is even a brig with thorny bars. And finally, the lowest of the low, the cargo deck is naught but open space for storing whatever it is you need to store.
I will claim a mossy bed for myself and begin to center myself.
Not only is it very comfortable, but as you lay down, flowers begin to sprout and give a wonderful aroma to the room. It's actually your favorite perfume. Zan, Daguses, what do you first notice about this ship?
Well, I immediately sit down the best location possible and I start painting the tree that I see.
Obviously, the tree itself is the most beautiful part of the ship. It is clearly an ancient tree. It has been alive for many years and is filled with personality. The leaves themselves seem to glimmer with life. You are so moved that you begin to weep, and everyone avoids you. Dagusis!
Yeah, so both geese are going up to the rigging, the goose nest, basically trying to see what the avenues for death-defying stunts could be.
Yes, there are many avenues for death-defying stunts. There are sails made of thick, veiny leaves. There are ropes But they're not ropes, they're vines growing from the masts themselves. And the crow's nest is an actual nest.
We would settle up in the nest, start laying feathers, laying claim, making sure it smells like goose.
Excellent.
Yeah, Gusto wants to pee in corner to make it Gusto's corner.
Of course.
Yeah, I think 2 corners for Gusto. I'll take the other 2.
2 corners of this circular nest. Yes, understood. Guy, you do not see a steering wheel. You are looking all around. There's wood, there's railings, but there is no steering wheel. There is simply a tiny little bonsai tree at the topmost part of the helm. What do you do, Guy?
I would like to touch it to see if it reacts.
Where do you touch it? Top, bottom, left, right? Let me know.
Show me on the top.
The trunk.
All right. Can you give me a strength roll?
I'm not so good at that.
Might actually. A 7. Ah, yes. So you see, it seems that gentle is better. As you touch the bonsai tree ever so gently, sort of shifting the branches, the ship itself begins to move. Listening to your gentle touch, it pulls away from the dock out into the water, and you hear the bard scream, wait, hang on! I don't even know what you're going to perform! But it's too late, for you are already drifting away from the dock out into the Drains River. What next? It seems you are the captain, Guy.
Guys, do you know where we are going? Anyone?
I'm just weeping.
I think we're just going upstream.
Or up in sky would be pretty cool. It's got wings. You might as well just start putting the wings on, going up, forward, in any direction that's forward would be pretty cool. Yeah, Gusto says we do a somersault to show off your captain prowess. Or 2 somersault.
Go ahead, Guy. You're in control.
All right. Full speed
In
ahead.
response, I'm going to tie myself to one of the sidebars.
Okay. All right. You take a vine. You wrap it around. Give me a survival roll to see if it's a good knot.
14.
It's a good knot. It's a really good knot. Clearly, you've tied yourself to posts many times.
Got to stay up somehow.
Guy, where are you leading the ship?
Can I roll a perception to see if there is anything in the airspace?
Absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and give me a perception roll?
It would be 21.
Excellent. As you look to the skies, your excellent construct eyes see that amongst the clouds there are already dozens of sky yachts. They're clearly celebrating. It is the Skyhog festival after all. So are you ready to take the wild wind into the clouds?
I was made ready. Let's go.
All right, and you gently bristle the leaves, and the 4 wings that unfolded from the base of the ship begin to actually propel it forward through the water in a rowing motion. And as the wings flap through the waves, they begin to catch air, and the wild wind suddenly takes to the skies with the groan of wind blowing through the boughs of the ancient tree. How you guys feeling taken to the skies? Gaga, Gusto, it must be nice to actually put those wings to use, huh?
Yeah, Gusto's very talented with flight. I am so, but it's nice to be in there.
Jank, I feel like I know how you feel, but Madame Fortuna, Zan, how do you feel about this ship actually going up into the air, quickly gaining height 100 feet, another 100 feet, until soon you must be at least 800 feet in the sky?
I am overcome with all of this wonder. It just reminds me of all of the sights I got to see in the astral sea, and just feeling of floating, even though I'm not really floating, but it's just a little peaceful for me.
You're never not happy.
I am praying to all spirits to bless this ship and keep us safe.
Totally understood.
Grand voyage.
And as you head up through the clouds and into the sky, the Skyhog Festival is already in full swing, with dozens of air yachts floating among the clouds. There are ships that look like damselflies glittering in the sun, ships that move like lampreys writhing through the clouds, even some star moths with their iridescent wings. It really is a show of shows, as all the richest of the rich of West Drunden come out to show off their yachts. The aristocrats, the highborn mingle on the decks of their ships, as you see smaller merchant vessels like winged rowboats bringing them food and drinks and knickknacks like gem-encrusted pinwheels. It's a free-for-all of capitalism, hundreds of feet in the air. You actually watch as the rich toss coins overboard, or some of them scatter paper money to the winds, and then watch as the ships around them slice through the air in a desperate attempt to gather what money and coin that they can. You actually see two such ships collide midair in a spray of wood and sail before crashing through the clouds into the water below. But what is the West Rend Entertainment Company in the King's service doing? You, of course, came up here for a reason.
Going to cast prestidigitation to have fireworks announce our entry into the airspace.
Oh, give me a performance roll.
13.
All right, excellent. So there is coom, coom, coom. There is a crash of fireworks, and suddenly Gusto Dagu runs and leaps off the deck of the Wild Wind, grabbing a vine, and begins swinging acrobatically on the outside of the ship, drawing the attention of the wealthy, of the rich, of the snooty sons of bitches. So you have done it. You have drawn their attention with some squawk and ah. Now, how do you follow it up?
Well, I'm going to cast Silent Image and make words appear in the sky that say something along the lines of like grand theatrical performance beginning soon.
Ooh. Go ahead and give me a persuasion roll.
16.
Ah, excellent. So you suddenly the clouds seem to dance, spelling out words, and you can actually hear the people on their yachts. Oh my dear, as if the fireworks weren't enough. There seems to be some sort of yes, it's a message. Oh, it's theater! Theater! How quaint! Is that a goose flying through the air? I must say it is. And suddenly a whole bunch of yachts are gathering around, forming a circle around the Wild Wind as it hovers in the air. You are doing an excellent job of drawing their attention. What will you perform?
Well, I will say I will project my voice as loudly as I can, and I will say, greetings, one and all. We are WRECKS, here to perform and entertain you. We have for you today a variety of performances, the likes of which you have never seen before. And our first act will be up shortly, and you shall be amazed by the acrobatic feats of foul fiends.
Ho ho! And they're all laughing. They like puns. Everybody likes puns. Everybody likes puns, Mary. So they're all so intensely pleased. So it seems that our first performance has indeed been announced, and it will be the acrobatic stylings of Gusto and Gaga Dagu. What do you guys do?
Gaga is going to cast Enlarge on Gaga.
Oh. So suddenly the Arsarin gets bigger and bigger, and all the rich people are like, oh my.
And Gusto is going to cast Reduce on Gusto.
So one goose is bigger and one goose is smaller. My, what are they playing at?
And Gusto is going to fly up into... Gaga is going to fly up into Gusto's enlarged feather fist. And as they sling back...
Thank God you said fist. Okay.
Yeah. And so as they're flying and swinging along the rigging, they start to perform the traditional goose cracker suite.
Oh. Can I get an athletics roll from Gaga, an acrobatics roll from Gusto, and a performance roll from both? Meanwhile, there is musical accompany begins.
Gusto's acrobatics roll is a 24, and and Gusto's performance roll is a 22.
And what have you, Gaga?
I've got double 26s.
Wow. All right. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and tell me exactly what the two of you do.
Well, as the traditional goose cracker suite, we are flying back and forth in midair, swinging on the vines, and it's a mixture of pirouetting and very melodic hisses. Gusto, please continue.
We're also jumping through. Gusto is going to jump through and around Gaga's wings and feet. And while we do that, Gusto is going to be casting Prestidigitation to make little fireworks and images pop up.
Yeah, and as you cast that and the concentration is broken...
No, there's no concentration.
Oh, well, no, on the...
Yeah, but the Prestidigitation is not concentration.
Okay, well, the point still stands is that at the same time... because we're flying kind of in tandem but slightly parallel, at that moment, I swing on the vine to look like I'm coming out of Gusto's mouth.
Oh my God! It is an amazing show. Geese of different sizes flying through the air, going in and out of orifices. Money is literally just flying all around you guys. They were like, oh my God, they're quite talented for being Arsarin. Who would have thought? You know, such high class from such low class people. And Zan is literally like standing at the edge of the ship, just grabbing all the money she can. And every now and then a mage hand appears and grabs more money. It's an absolutely epic first performance. I hate to be whoever follows it up, but I guess I got to ask the question.
I do want to make sure that you know that our performance ends with a minor illusion of a giant resealing golden egg as we fade off into the distance.
Oh, and there are thunderous applause More gold is thrown into the air than can be caught. There are merchant ships below you, literally having gold rain down on them. That was an excellent performance. Madam Fortuna, who is up next?
Give it up for our fabulous geese. Yes,
Honk,
yes,
honk,
yes, yes.
honk, 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 golf honks.
Yes. Now, prepare yourselves for the musical stylings of the one and only Guy Automata.
Yes, the one and only Guy. Except he is not the only, because as Guy goes out to perform, Zan stands next to Guy.
All right, I'd like to kick this party into overdrive. I'm gonna lay down some sick beats, and I would actually like to start doing some plane tricks, some stunts. I'd like to start with a barrel roll.
Ooh, okay. So you're flying the ship and you're doing like crazy moves.
Yeah. We'll start with a barrel roll and do a loop-de-loop, and then we will try a maneuver that is very dangerous called the falling leaf, where we mimic a leaf as it goes down.
Before this begins, I have to ask Zan, I know you've been very interested in music, and you stayed out on deck because it seemed like this was a proper opportunity to maybe take advantage of the musical setting. What are you trying to do, Zan?
I really have, because I've heard Guy play music before, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to harmonize.
Excellent. Can I get the two of you to give me a performance roll? And it's not going to be based on how high you go. It's going to be based on how close your numbers are to each other.
Okay.
Let's see if you guys can harmonize or if we've got like a Yoko Ono thing going on.
10.
I got you.
Oh, wow! An 8 and a 10. You guys actually got really close to each other. It's not perfect, but as Guy plays his music, Zan comes out and offers up like some beautiful like elven throat warbling, and you'd think they wouldn't go together, but somehow the sounds mix together perfectly. And Guy, you are inspired. Guy, can I get a wisdom roll, a straight wisdom roll, to see how well you pilot the ship?
There was an 8.
All right. So you said your first thing was a loop-de-loop, yes?
The first thing was a barrel roll.
Yes, a barrel roll. Now,
I
luckily...
want to cast dancing lights in the shape of a person, and anything that the ship does, the lights mimic. So if the ship's barrel rolling, that will also do the same.
Oh, wow. So it kind of looks like a grand washing machine as Guy attempts to do a barrel roll, and... I need everybody on the ship to give me a dexterity saving throw because it is not the most elegant barrel roll, and it's sort of like a medieval version of the gravitron. Gusto, it's very good that you actually flew out of the ship. Gusto is flying around with a prestidigitated neon sign advertising cocktails. I imagine some Grey Goose vodka. Yeah, that's what it is. But everyone else on the ship, you are tossed about like clothes in a washing machine. Luckily, Jenk and Zan and Gaga, you guys are very good at keeping your feet being, just sort of like constantly on the balls of your feet, moving elegantly like ballerina dancers. However, both Madame Fortuna and Guy are just tossed about, like slamming into walls. There's actually a moment where it seems like they are thrown from the ship entirely. No one is currently at the helm of the ship, and the barrel roll has turned into what appears to be a death-defying, spiraling nosedive down towards the ground, and the rich people are screaming, "Isn't somebody going to do anything? I mean, not me, but somebody else!"
I would like to cast Mage Hand to take the controls.
I'd like to cast Guidance to aid his mage hand in controlling the ship.
Apologies. And Jenk, can you give me a dexterity saving throw?
26.
All right. So, Jenk, you rush to this helm, and it's a fucking bonsai tree, and you don't know what to do when suddenly a spectral hand appears, and it covers your own hand, and it guides you, and it begins to move your own hands across the bonsai tree. Oh,
Thank you, Saloon, for giving me this.
love. And as the ghost theme plays, you manage to get control of the wild wind and the barrel roll. You come up and you fly just as Gusto returns to the ship. And the applause are uproarious. Oh, what a death-defying stunt. An artistic show turned into a stunt show. More money, more coins. You guys are raking it in today. Absolutely raking it in. And Jenk, you are in control of the ship now. But Madame Fortuna, as you sort of fix the many scarves that are hanging off of you and pick up your magic crystal ball, I believe it is time for the last performance of the evening. And what will it be?
Ah, yes. Now we shall give you a true treat. We shall give you a peek into the original play that is being performed and staged by the WRECKS, and you are getting an exclusive sneak peek tonight.
And Madame Go ahead, Madame Fortuna. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. In this scene, you will be dazzled by two lovers the story of two lovers who are parting.
And who is playing these two lovers?
Why, none other than our very own Zan and Jenk.
Oh, all right. So let's get the two of them out on to the stage. And I forgot Jenk. All right, Jenk, you suddenly someone sort of grabs you and pushes you on stage, and it's like, this is your chance. This is your chance. And Zan, someone is like, remember your lines and stuff. And the two of you go out there, and you are performing a scene from All That's Left as the two lovers are parted. Zan, who are you playing?
I don't know.
That's all right. Fake it until you make it. Jenk, which of the lovers are you playing?
I am playing Barry, the half-orc that is being sent off to war.
Yes. The half-orc is being sent off to war. And Zan, you don't remember your lines, but you can still do this. You can pull it off.
Do I go first?
Yeah.
Jenk, maybe you should lead the scene.
I'm sorry, dear, but I must be going. I've been called off by the king and his legions. I've done everything I can in order to evade this, but unfortunately, they have every eye upon me.
And Madame Fortuna, what is the backdrop behind these two lovers? One of them, of course, being an orc about to go off to war.
Ah, it is the fine palace of a queen, because of course the other lover is none other than a princess.
Yes, Zan, right, you're a princess. Yes, and you're in a court with your... Oh, and I picked the wrong person. With your orc warrior lover, workier. He's going off to work. Yes. So, but he must go, Zan. What do you say to your orcish lover?
My love, you have left me before. Please don't leave me again, for I need you with me. You fill my soul with all of the fire that burns, and I do not wish to extinguish without your presence here.
And as Zan speaks, literally on all the ships around the Wild Wind, flowers begin to bloom in people's drinks, along the decks, along the railings, and as if her very words are calling upon the spirit of nature themselves, and people are drawn in. Can I get the two of you to give me a performance roll?
That's a nat 20.
Jenk?
19.
Oh my god! Somehow, despite the fact that you don't know any of the fucking words, Zan, and despite the fact that you don't look anything like an orc and you're wearing overalls, people get lost in the scene as soon the blooming flowers begin to get picked up by the wind and are swirling around the two of you. And everyone is transported not to a court, but to an entirely new realm. They believe in your love. As Zan, you don't want him to leave, and Jenk, you don't want to go. And now people are rooting for you. They're weeping, and now you just need to make them buy it. Buy the scene.
So, Jenk pulls Zan close, looks longly in her eyes, and says, "I wish nothing more than to stay here. But you know that the king, your father, will have my head if he finds out that I have not gone."
Jenk, give me a persuasion roll.
Shit, why is that the one covered? Damn. 16.
And as you say these words, you both...
Put my hand up to his face as he says this.
Because both of you are crying now. Tears sparkle at the edges of your lashes. It is a beautiful, gorgeous scene, and the audience roars with approval, and flowers shower down all around you, and the two of you are lost in each other's eyes for only a moment. Ka-toom! There is a crack like thunder, and suddenly the oohs and ahs of the crowd turn to screams. Something is not quite right. What do the WRECKS do?
Try and see what happened.
It is easy to see what happens because as the oohs and the ahs of the crowd suddenly turn to horrified shrieks, you see fireworks shooting down from dark clouds above and beginning to demolish yachts. Pieces of wood go flying and the rich go running. What do you guys do?
I book it to the ballista.
All right. You are rushing to the ballista, but what are you aiming for? See, go ahead.
No, go on.
There is a sound like thunder, and rolling out of the dark clouds above comes a massive space galleon with dark sails. Can I get a perception roll from all of you? Excellent. Jenk, Madame Fortuna, Gusto, and Zan. The four of you look to the space galleon, and you see atop the uppermost mast is a flag, a black flag with a horned skeleton thrusting a spear into a bleeding heart. Would anyone like to make a history roll?
Sure.
Let's see which of you knows your history. Jenk, you are the first and possibly the only to realize that this isn't just any ship. This is the oncoming storm, the ship of the infamous pirate known only as Bloodbeard. And yachts explode around you as rockets and cannonballs, chain shot, arrows, and harpoons rain down on the expensive vessels. Ballistas launch massive iron harpoons into nearby ships as chain shot demolish the sails and the masts. You watch as the ships suddenly drop from the sky and passengers fall into the waters far below the clouds. Yet the heavy chains keep the ruined vessels from hitting the ground. Hanging from the bottom of the oncoming storm, you then watch as pirates, skeleton pirates no less, throw themselves overboard, ropes lashed about their waists and chests, and they begin to hack into the hulls of the ships, removing the cargo without ever entering. They load this cargo onto hanging platforms, metal cages attached to winches that disappear into the underside of the oncoming storm. It is a full-on attack. Jenk, you are at the ballista, but what is everyone else doing as you see the oncoming storm roll out of the clouds?
I would like to cast a minor illusion on our flag to disguise it as a pirate flag.
Oh, and Madame Fortuna, you are distorting the value of the ship to make it look like shit. Very clever. Gaga, meanwhile, is using minor illusion to change the cocktails for sale sign to skeletal cocktails for sale. Gaga, can you give me a persuasion roll? I'm going to see if that works.
Gaga gets a 24 as he puts little tiny cocktail bones in the martini glasses and parades the
Excellent.
deck as only skeletons like.
So, Madame Fortuna, you succeeded in making the ship look like shit. And Guy, you succeeded in making the flag look like a pirate ship. But suddenly, these brainless, bony skeleton pirates see the skeleton cocktails and are immediately drawn toward the wild wind. See, the oncoming storm may be availing itself of the rich vessels, but now its intended destination appears to be none other than the wild wind. Who does what?
I would like to cast Thunder Wave on the ones that get closest to try to push them off the ship.
Oh, yes. So as a number of skeletal pirates swing towards the deck, there is a sudden blast of thunder that pushes them back, shattering many of them into bones as they fall from the sky. Jenk, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, is there anything that looks like it might be like a powder hole, like a place where to keep their ammunition?
There might be one below deck. You mean on the oncoming storm, yes?
Yes.
All right. Give me an investigation roll.
13.
Gaga, the skeletons are trying to come for their drinks, but Zan keeps blowing them away with thunder.
It adds to atmosphere. Skeletons like a little bit of danger with their cocktails.
Jenk, you're looking for some sort of, perhaps, you aren't 100% sure, but if you're lucky, if the powder is stored in the bottom of the ship, this just might work. Can you go ahead and give me a shot?
First, I want to cast pyrotechnics on the tip of the thing, the
thorn.
The harpoon, yeah.
All right, so you sort of snap your fingers, and a fuse starts on the end of the harpoon. Go ahead and give me a roll. It is +6 to your hit.
That is a 24.
Holy shit! So you all watch as Jenk fires, and the fiery thorn shoots up into the sky, hitting exactly where he targeted. Jenk, can you go ahead and give me a 3d10 roll?
$18.
All right. There is an explosion, and the underside of the oncoming storm opens up. Skeletal pirates and barrels of powder come raining down, but it's not enough to take the ship out entirely. And now you definitely have their attention.
I point out, you're not ruining my show.
Can I get perception rolls from all of you? All right, everyone but Gaga. Gaga, you are preoccupied with trying to get these skeletons their drinks, goddammit. They have good skeletal money that you want, all right? But the rest of you watch as suddenly skeletal pirates leap overboard from the oncoming storm above, sailing down, and yeah, they completely miss the wild wind. They just go sailing past the wild. Well, hang on, can I get another perception roll from all you guys? All right. This time, everyone except Guy. Guy, I'm not sure what you're busy with, but you're the only one that doesn't notice that though the skeletons have missed, there's suddenly a new sound. Thwunk, 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 thwunk. And you realize just a little bit too late, oh shit, they didn't miss! They are literally climbing up the underside of the ship using siege axes tied around their skeletal wrists. Suddenly, skeletal pirates are leaping over the railings. Some of them are even hacking through the bottom of the ship, and you hear them coming up through the lower levels themselves. What are you guys doing?
I'm going to take a moment and paint this scene in my portfolio. Because I would like to have this documented. So
Zan is the first to be taken. You're getting a really good shot of a skeleton as he rushes towards you, wraps his bony arms around you, and then suddenly the rope that was tied around his spine goes taut, and you are quickly pulled upward into the sky.
Not my paint pots!
And Zan, your paint stuff goes flying in all directions as Zan is taken by a skeletal pirate onto the oncoming storm. But what of the rest of you? They have come to get you.
I will cast
Gusto-
dissonant whispers. I will sort of become a vessel for the most vile of spirits that I know and try to do damage to these skeletal pirates.
Ooh, I like it. Go ahead. Oh, so that's wisdom. Let's take a look. Oh, they are bony bitches. They have no wisdom. Go ahead and give me your 3d6 roll.
Is that? There we go. 15.
All right. You cast dissonant whispers, channeling this dark energy through you. And what happens as you do this?
I think it's similar to speaking in tongues. It is not a language that any mortal might know. It begins very guttural and sort of comes out kind of vilely.
Oh, excellent. It is so vile, in fact, that the skeletons themselves are terrified of it, and many of them begin to throw themselves overboard instead of handling being around you. Guy, Jank, the gooses, what is going on with you guys as the skeletons attack?
Goose.
I am going to take out my light hammer
Okay.
and prepare to attack the closest one.
All right, go ahead and give me an attack.
Uh, 17.
All right, that definitely hits. And what damage do you do?
6.
All right. There is a shattering of bone as you take off one of their arms, but the creature attacks you in turn. It does not like this. I am going to need an athletics roll from you, but I will allow you to make it at advantage since you just took off one of their arms.
I've got 17 and 8, so 17.
All right. One of them tries not to hurt you, but wrestle you into its arms to lift you up into the sky, but completely fails as you manage to fight it off. Gusto, I thought I heard you saying something.
Gusto is going to pull a very battered, very garishly painted lute with flames going up the side from behind her and attempt to do an enthralling performance. So Gusto will give a courageous honk, and then it will be a contested check against their wisdom or insight and Gusto's performance.
Oh, do it.
That is going to be really nice. So that will be a 25 performance.
They
And
completely fail, and you suddenly find that the approaching skeletons seem enthralled by your words.
At that, Gaga will quickly warm up, hit very lightly his gong, and then fly out casually with the cocktails on tow, because even fleshless customers are still customers, and ivory coins are as good as gold when it comes to the Gusto. Gaga.
So you begin to pickpocket these skeletons, and you know what? Gaga, if you want to go and add it, you manage to get 4 gold pieces and 2 copper pieces that you can go ahead and add to your inventory. Guy, what are you doing?
I would like to cast Disguise Self and turn myself into a skeleton with in full regalia, like that of a first mate.
Can you give me a deception roll?
Ooh, 8.
Yes, so some skeletons rush to take you, and suddenly you are just like, no, I am also a skeleton. Can you not see that I am a skeleton just like you? And 2 skeletons stop, and the skeletons, they sort of like, where are you at, my skeletons? I have some cool skeleton pictures. I know I do. And I can't find it. Fuck it. Whatever. So 2 skeletons stop, and they sort of look at each other, and then they just sort of shrug and keep walking. So it appears to have worked. You guys are completely owning these skeletons, but the ship up above is not having any of this shit. As suddenly a big harpoon buries itself in the deck of the Wild Wind, and more skeleton pirates begin to zip line down. Except, can I get a perception roll from you guys again? All right. Jank, Madame Fortuna, and Gaga, you 3 are the first to notice something is happening. Yes, Gusto, you are far too enthralled with your own performance, but something is happening as this harpoon buries itself in the deck. It's almost as if the ship itself has had enough. It has been hacked by axes. It has been hit by harpoons, and it does not like any of what's going on. And you realize that the ancient tree on the aft deck is not actually a tree, but is instead a tree ant. As the ancient tree begins to unfurl and the very ship around you comes to life and begins to fight off the skeletons, vines wrapping around the skeleton pirates and throwing them overboard, tossing them like an elephant swatting a fly before the skeletons can even hack through the vines. The tree itself lets out a booming grunt, and its limbs begin to shatter pirate bones with fell swoops. All right, you... Oh, I see. Can I get a dexterity roll, Jank? The sails of the ship flutter, and the deck roils as the ship tries to shake off its attackers. Jank, I see you got a 19. Jank, that will absolutely do it. Can I get an athletics roll to hold on as you are also hoisted upward? All right. And you watch as Jank disappears up onto the oncoming storm, seemingly of his own accord. Meanwhile, the ship is literally fighting off the skeletons, and I'm going to need a dexterity saving throw from the rest of you. So Gaga, Gusto, Guy, and Madame Fortuna, please give me a dexterity saving throw to keep yourselves on the ship as it literally fights back. Oh, and Gago and Gusto, you guys are perfect. You guys were made for this, literally hanging onto the vines, swinging around. Madame Fortuna, you managed to just hold on to the railing before you are thrown off. Guy, how are you doing?
You got to 5.
Unfortunately, Guy, you turn around and are suddenly hit with an arm from the tree ant. You are thrown from the deck of the ship, and Guy, you are hanging in midair and about to fall hundreds of feet to the unknown ground below. Do you do anything? Does anybody do anything? Or is Guy lost to gravity?
Gusto would like to send an unseen servant to grab his hand and pull him up.
Can the unseen servant fly?
Is he off the ship already?
He's like hanging in midair. Like he's been...
Well, first off, Gaga casts Featherfall to prevent any damage to the good construct guy.
All right.
Well, but it makes him fall slower so we can catch him sooner. Yeah.
Fair. Well, can somebody give me then a dexterity roll at advantage to catch him?
Yeah.
So, Guy, you are hanging in midair. You are about to fall, and you are falling, but you're falling really slow, you realize. You're like falling like a feather towards the ground. Who's...
18? Dex? Just straight dex?
Yeah, just straight dex. And you know what? I see a whole bunch of people. Gusto and Gaga grab onto each other and somehow grab onto Madame Fortuna as well. And the three of you swing out, suddenly making I was going to say a human chain, but more of a Gustin chain, as the two geese daredevils grab feathery hands, stretching out with Madame Fortuna at the end, who grabs Guy's hand and with a whip of strong Arsarin muscles brings Guy back onto the deck of the ship. And you arrive just in time as the tree ant is calming down and returning to its endless slumber. However, the oncoming storm is no longer attacking. The oncoming storm is pulling away. It appears that it has what it came for, and it lets out another thunderous rumble before disappearing into the dark clouds and the fast fading sun. And as the four of you are left on the deck of the Wild Wind, the outgoing cloud, yes, I ask, what will the four of you be doing? Will you be licking your wounds and returning to the ground below? What's going on?
Well,
No.
half of our crew is on that ship. Yes.
Well, not half. 2 of them. 2 out of 4. I'd say more like 1/3 of your crew.
Yeah, both geese are sharpening their knives, fully prepared, and assuming we're going after them.
Okay.
You
What
don't fuck with Rex. Rex fucks with you. Messes with you.
Leave no man or goose behind. What do you think, Madame Fortuna?
Yes. I agree. I'm wondering if I can detect thought like before they disappear into the clouds to try and get a sense of where they're going.
Ooh. Let's see. What do you think, Guy? Do you want to weigh in here?
I draw my rapier and point in the direction of the ship, and I say, "Follow that cloud."
So, Madame Fortuna, you are able to get one instant thought into your head before suddenly the ship is out of your range. And the thought that comes into your head, you get an image of a dragon and a single name, Draxos. And Guy, you said you are following the ship?
Yes.
Then can I go ahead and get you to give me a dexterity roll to chase after the oncoming storm?
A 10?
And the wild wind rumbles, and suddenly the wings flap, and you head off into the clouds. Now I need a perception roll from you, not to lose the ship.
13?
The oncoming storm may be fast, but the wild wind is smaller and faster, and you will catch up with it rather quickly. Perhaps you guys should consider what you're going to do as we head on over to the oncoming storm and see what's happening with Zan. Zan, you were the first to arrive, pulled up by a skeletal pirate onto the deck of the oncoming storm. But you are not there alone for long. For mere moments later, you hear a heavy grunt as none other than your orcish lover, Jank, is not thrown down. But Jank, can I get an acrobatics roll to see how well you stick the landing?
13.
All right. 13. So, Jank, you're holding onto the rope. It pulls you up over the deck. You fly through the air, and then you hit the ground, and immediately, boom, 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 boom. Whew. Okay, that did not go as well as you would have liked. So your heroic moment, not the best entrance, but you're here. You're here. What do you do, Jank? How do you cover?
Just quickly brush myself off, get up, and be like, look around, try and see. What do I see?
May I get perception rolls from both of you?
Do I see him landing?
Oh, yeah, totally. He totally just like boom, 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 boom next to you.
Okay.
14.
6.
Zan, you're so preoccupied with his heroic entrance. I imagine
It was fantastic. That was really good. I really enjoyed that.
especially liked when you rolled on your face. That was,
Efficiency over flair.
but
It
Jank,
took my mind off of the fact that I lost my paint pot, so thank you.
Jank, you are paying attention to the pirates around you because, yes, there are skeletal pirates, each of them glaring at you with their bony eyes, but there are also fleshy pirates here. You see, up at the top of a crow's nest is none other than a Kenku pirate. Ironic, right? Not too far from you is a dwarf who crackles with lightning and a heavy hammer. And sitting on the dwarf's shoulder is a fairy, a barbarian fairy, a barbarian, who sort of laughs as you fall on your face. But then, coming even closer, are the three most dangerous folks. You watch as an owlin steps forward, armed with a heavy blade. And beside them is a hobgoblin who somehow seems to have even more blades. But the one that stands out most could be none other than the captain. A bugbear steps forward. The hair around her face is matted with blood stains. And you realize this must be none other than Bloodbeard. Finally, a man wearing a strange mask rushes forward and shoves a gun into both of your faces, mostly yours, Jenks. And Bloodbeard speaks up, "Foom, lower your weapon. That is not how we treat our guests." And the bugbear sort of plays with the matted blood in her beard. And she welcomes you to the oncoming storm and introduces you to the rest of the crew. The Kenku in the crow's nest is apparently none other than Crow's Nest. The dwarf is Stormbringer, and the Barfarian is Stillana. The man with the gun is Foom, and the Owlin is Cutter. Hobgoblin is known only as Krolzard the Reckless, but I am Bloodbeard. Bloodbeard looks at the Owlin and asks, "Are these who we wanted?" Can I get an insight roll from both of you?
Nat 20.
18.
Okay. Both of you immediately see that as Bloodbeard asks the Owlin if this is what they came for, the Owlin is struggling. Perhaps they were looking for something besides a single astral elf and a dude. But
The most astute definition of what I am.
the Owlin is not going to admit to any such mistakes in front of Bloodbeard, and the Owlin indeed gives a little nod of its darting head and says, "Yes, Captain, this is who we were looking for. These are the artists." And at that, I will give you two a second to think as we return to the ship. Because I believe that some of you might know the story of Draxos. Do you not? I guess you don't.
Do we?
You-
I asked if I should roll something to see if I know the significance.
You asked if you should roll, and while you were asking if you should roll, Gaga did roll. And Gaga, you may know the story of Draxos better than anyone.
Beautifully told, Gusto.
Draxos, I am going to... I'm sorry. Gaga, I am going to send you the information for Draxos. And I would like you... I'm just going to put it in the chat. I would like you, in your own words, to relate the history and legend of Draxos.
So,
if you will.
as Gusto said, Draxos is a star, is a constellation in the far north of the Astral Sea.
Real quick, can I get you guys to either give me a perception or survival roll to see if you can actually spot those stars in the sky tonight? Madame Fortuna, you are the only one who is able to make out the stars that create the shape of a dragon in the heavens above. But I apologize, Gusto and Gaga. I did not mean to interrupt. So Draxos is a constellation.
No, I can point out the belt, but the dragon I leave to experts. It said that Draxos was the greatest entrepreneur ever known. In fact, we take much inspiration from him. Not Gusto? Yes.
Madame Fortuna, can I get an insight roll?
$15.
All right, so Madame Fortuna, you realize that when Gaga and Gusto say entrepreneur, they mean thief. Draxos was a legendary thief. Yes.
Yeah. So as a little baby, fresh from egg, he amassed a pile of success larger than even the most inadequate of children's tales or otherwise rich folk. He as his treasures grew, so did Draxos. You know, as you have more wealth, more success, more desire and time to make yourself big. You know, your free time. So he became the very shadow of the sky itself. Really, really cool. There's a lot of stars, so being the shadow of sky is impressive. The shining scales of her belly became the stars, just so shiny, you know. Draxos was worshipped by entrepreneurs and otherwise upstanding citizens. And, you know, it's almost like, you know, I think very highly. Gustav, what do you think? Yeah, Gustav thinks very highly of Draxos. Is like idol or aspirant or like you know, they're really good at what they do.
I think you guys are getting the gist of it. Draxos is a legendary thief, and clearly these guys have a thing. So, but please do continue, Gago. Finish the story of Draxos.
Yeah. So Draxos, you know, became that kind of unofficial aspirant to, you know, fellow entrepreneurs. But one day they stole
a god of thieves. Yes, a god of thieves or entrepreneurs.
One day, they were really hungry and they, you know, saw a really nice available golden apple. And they took it from the Eye of Mycia, the queen of Athenian gods. Again, very welcoming, very open apple. I feel like it was totally fair, but whatever. That's beside the point. So the gods pursued Draxos, probably jealous about the apple, definitely. It pursued into the sky, and they battled for a decade. Many of the gods were lost in the sky as the scales that were cleaved from Draxos' body went on to create the stars to guide all sailors. You know, it's bright, you know, you might get a little distracted. It's really cool Draxos, etc. But finally, after 10 years at battle, very successful battle, Draxos really cool. Draxos finally defeated the last of the pursuers, the jealous ones. You know, it was very epic. It's really cool. But after you know, such a feat, Draxos, as many greats understand, when you reach pinnacle, why bother yourself with? Yes, Gusto, we're getting there. Gusto says, when you're the best at what you do, why settle for less? So once you reach bestum, Draxos kind of fell asleep, a really deep sleep. And, you know, never seen them ever since because, you know, your people sleep. Something like that.
So long story short, Draxos is a legendary dragon that is said to have stolen something from the gods and battled the gods across the stars. before finishing their battle and coming to sleep among the stars, and that is where the great constellation of Draxos comes from. The question is, why are these pirates interested in a constellation? Do you guys have any theories?
Yeah, as Gusto said, the entrepreneurs too maybe want to one-up them, or maybe find hoard for themselves.
They worship it. It is celestial being, perhaps.
It's definitely something of interest. But I guess what you guys need to think about is you are fast approaching the oncoming storm. What are you going to do when you reach it? I'll give you a little bit of time to think, because we return to the oncoming storm just as Jenk and Zan are also told the story of Draxos. See, it seems that Bloodbeard is a big fan of Draxos. Bloodbeard grew up on the stories of Draxos, a favorite tale of her conniving grandmother. And Zan, you know these stories as well. You don't spend so much time in the astral sea without hearing of these legends of gods and dragons. Bloodbeard says that the light of Draxos has guided her into infamy. And over time, Bloodbeard fell in love with the very stars that made up the constellation. See, Bloodbeard has lived a life full of infamy. They've killed hundreds of men, and it's kind of looking at you right now, Jenk. Enough to crew a fleet of ships. But Bloodbeard has found that the carnage has lost its luster. And Bloodbeard wishes to join her beloved Draxos in the starry skies above. Can I get another insight roll from the two of you?
21.
22.
All right. Both of you realize as Bloodbeard tells the story of Draxos, the dragon of thieves, the god of thieves, fighting the gods across the stars, falling asleep among the stars, as he talks about falling in love with Draxos, you're looking around at the other pirates and you realize all of them think Bloodbeard is off her fucking gourd. Okay? They clearly think Bloodbeard is crazy, but you also realize that none of them are brave enough to tell Bloodbeard so. And so Bloodbeard...
So what I'm getting is you're crazy.
Do you say that?
Yeah.
A hush falls over the ship. And as a matter of fact, all the pirates suddenly take a step away from you as Bloodbeard looks at you. There's no anger, but a sort of calm, and approaches you. You dare speak to me in such a way, you insignificant human.
Yeah. I'm nothing but a carpenter.
You dare to call me crazy.
Talking about stars and falling in love with imaginary dragons. Yeah, I think I do. And looking around, every single one of these cowards here is too afraid to tell you too.
All of them are like, no, Bloodbeard, absolutely. Bloodbeard, the stars above shine only for you. Draxos awaits you. And Bloodbeard, with just a flick of fingers, reaches out and grasps you around the throat, lifting you up. And you can smell blood and gore on her breath. Zan, do you say anything, as it totally looks like Bloodbeard is about to eat Jenk's face?
I say, clearly he has never experienced the beauty and wonder that is the stars, because as I have traversed the astral sea for so long. I have fallen in love with so many stars. It is so wonderful. It is just so unfortunate that he does not have that experience, that he cannot relate. Please do not punish him for his unawareness of the beauty of the stars.
Can you give me a persuasion roll?
$15.
And Jank, you see blood-stained saliva dripping from Bloodbeard's mouth, the tongue ready to dig into your empty, bloodied eye socket, when suddenly Bloodbeard drops you and says, "Thank you. You understand. He does not. Take him to the brig." And suddenly a group of pirates swarm upon you, Jank, and you are carried off to the brig, but alive. And Zan, you are left alone with Bloodbeard, and Bloodbeard approaches you. "Thank you for understanding. You understand what it is to love something greater than you, do you not?"
I do. I cast vicious mockery and I say, "You destroyed my paint pots, and I expect to have them replenished."
Oh my, going from one thing to the next, are we? All right, let's see.
My paint pots are gone.
Luckily, Bloodbeard doesn't even realize you are viciously mocking her. She is completely, like, in another world, as she goes on to say, "See, I have fallen in love with Draxos and attempted to lure the great Draxos from her slumber with the greatest treasures this world has ever seen. The magic lamps of Mirari, the flaming sword of Mira, the bident of Thassa, the chained veil of the Stormbringer, even the black blade and the arc bow. Draxos has ignored all of my treasures, and I flung them into the deepest depths of the sea in rage and sorrow. Because I realized, finally, that it was not gold or jewels that Draxos treasured. She has had more of those than ever we could fathom. What I seek from you, artists, is something so beautiful, so sorrowful, a song, an ode, a masterpiece so moving that it will move the heavens themselves and awaken Draxos from her eternal slumber. You will perform such a masterpiece for me, or you will be added to the undead crew of the oncoming storm."
My heart weeps for you, and I understand, and I am absolutely willing to help with this endeavor. All I ask in return is that you replenish my paint pots.
Once again, doesn't seem to notice that you are so preoccupied. But we return to the Wild Wind. Wild Wind, what are you thinking?
I think that it would be good for us to try to perhaps conceal ourselves and sneak aboard, and try to stealthily get our crewmates back without attracting the notice of this larger, more dangerous ship.
That's not a bad idea. And Guy, since you are at the helm, could I get you to go ahead and give me a stealth roll?
I'm going to give him guidance.
Good, because
Roll
I
an
knew
extra
there was a
4d4.
So the guidance definitely helps. And Guy, you are definitely getting the hang of flying this bonsai tree. You managed to use the dark clouds that seem to trail behind the oncoming storm and actually hide within them. So you managed to keep the ship hidden. What are you guys thinking next?
Gusto would like to cast Disguise Self. Can she cast that on someone else? I know it says Disguise Self, but is that possible to cast on someone else? Are we going to allow that? Especially since we're both geese, she wants to cast it on Gaga and make Gaga look like a skeletal goose.
You know what? I'm cool with that. It can't be anything too complicated, but you can make the two of you look like exactly the same thing.
We both want to look, or Gusto and Gaga will look like skeletal geese to fit with the theme.
Yeah,
Right.
and the Gaga the ghoul, the skeletal goose, would like to try to set up hasty skeletal cocktails on platter to try to kind of fly ahead and blend into pirate ship life as a cocktail waiter.
As a pirate cocktail waiter. All right, so Guy, you are flying the ship. You're keeping it stealthy. Madame Fortuna, you're clearly overseeing everything. Can I get acrobatics rolls from Gusto and Gaga to get onto the ship?
Yeah.
Gusto rolled a 19.
Not natural, but 20 for a Gaga.
You have to one up.
I always do.
All right. Okay. So you two managed to quietly get yourselves onto the oncoming storm. And now, Gusto, can I get a stealth roll from you to blend in among the skeletons? And Gaga, can I get a performance roll from you to pass yourself off as a skeletal cocktail waiter?
Oh, yes.
We'll
Gusto rolled a 17 stealth.
And the Gaga rolled a 24 performance.
Why do you want up me?
So you two get separated, but Gusto, you stick to the shadows, moving through the ship unmolested. And Gaga, you walk out, and go ahead, give us your best skeleton waiter. How does it go?
Ramen bones for the bones who want ram.
And the skeletons pretty much take whatever you give them. They even give you a couple errant coins and buttons. And you know what? Gaga, I'm going to go ahead. You get another gold piece, a silver piece, and 2 copper pieces.
Happily. I would also love to cast Enthrall to try to draw as much pirate thirsty attention onto me as humanly possible, as goosely possible.
Goosely possible.
Gotcha. So you're trying to bring them in and sort of like, oh, come try all this food.
Oh yeah, because it's like it's the simultaneous. I genuinely want to feed them because I don't give a shit who they are. The money's money, but also I understand that my fellow compatriots are trying to pull some shit off. So if I can make more attention onto the ramen bones, I would be more than happy to oblige.
All right, so oh my god. Yeah, these guys have shit wisdom. You are totally drawing a crowd, not only of skeletal pirates, but also flesh-bound pirates as well. They're all being drawn. Gusto, you watch as Gaga, with like this ridiculous waiter's accent, is feeding people what it can't even be considered food. And the pirates are totally gathering around and eating it up. Like they're like, some of them are literally trying to eat it. So this is going better than thought. It's going so good that Zan, you don't even realize that one by one, the pirates are sort of slipping away to, I guess, drink bones. I'm going to say they're drinking bones until...
Bone meal is very good for you. It's like broth, but it's mildly alcoholic.
Getting boned is very distracting.
Zan, Bloodbeard does not seem to notice that he is alone with you. But Bloodbeard has told you what he wishes of you. He wishes for you to play something so moving that it will literally awaken the stars above. How do you respond, or what are you asking for?
I can absolutely do that for you. I have composed a poem and a song for the stars. So if you would like, I can hope that that is gift enough for Draxos to come to you.
Oh, excellent. And you know what? He's going to give you a little bit of time to prepare. Because I want to head below decks real quick. So, Jenk, you have been thrown in the brig of the oncoming storm, which is on the lowest level of the ship. What are you doing? So you're thrown in the brig by a kobold who sort of laughs at you and then walks away. What do you do?
Let's go. Stop, small friend.
Persuasion roll.
Uh, 21.
All right. And the kobold stops.
I saw your face up there. Clearly, you are a being of great sensibility. You don't believe in these things that your captain is saying, do you?
Morga like meat. Morga lock people up. Morga gets meat.
Oh, you like meat? Cool. Okay, great. Well, know where we got? There's a lot of meat at the theater. We have plenty. You
have meat
at our theater? Yes. I can't get there if I'm here though. I require your assistance.
Morga, help you go.
Yes.
And Morga starts walking towards a lever that is in the middle of the floor. Can you give me an insight roll?
It's 11.
Right. So you don't know what he's doing, but Morga, help you go. And he grabs the lever. Go ahead. He stops.
Morga, wait. No, not. You need to come with me for me to give you the meat.
Oh. You go first. I follow. And he pulls the lever, and the trap door below you opens up, and you begin to fall.
Can I try to grab at the bars?
Absolutely. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
25.
You now give me an athletics roll to hang on.
Okay. 13.
Okay, so you are literally dangling there from these bars. All you can see below you are clouds. And now Morga is taking out the keys and opening the door that he just shut and is looking down at you. And this kobold is like, you go meet. I follow. And it looks like he's like getting ready to sit on the edge of this trap door and totally intends on following you.
All right.
Go. And he starts to like pick away at your fingers in like a, this little putty had, counted this and that and doing the whole Tweety Bird thing. And
so I will cast Minor Illusion, since it's just somatic, no hand motions needed, and make it appear as if I have fallen.
Oh. All right. I am going to need a... Let's do persuasion. Let's do another persuasion roll.
Yep.
Oh, look. Piggy.
17.
Yes. So you sort of let out a and Morga is like, he go already. And then Morga throws himself through the trapdoor, falling into the clouds. And that is where Morga the kobold leaves our story. And what happens? Well, no one may ever know. But Jenk, The door is open. You simply need to pull yourself back up. Can I get another athletics roll?
Five. Sorry, six.
Ugh, it's fine. I rolled a 5, so I was anyway. You a little weak now, but you pull yourself up. You're on the floor. You're in the cargo hold of the oncoming storm. Morg is gone. What do you do now?
Those bastards trying to ruin my damn show. They don't deserve this ship. This has got to go. So I'm gonna do some quick exploring. I know you said I saw a pantry. I'm going to go try and see if I can find the powder hole.
Yeah. So you open the pantry, and you have found the powder hold, and there's a big hole in the floor, and it looks like all the powder dropped out. It looks like somebody shot into the powder hold and blew it up. And the rest just sort of flew out.
Okay, so I guess I did a little more than I thought I did. Okay. All right, well.
Go ahead.
I guess I'll keep on trying to figure my way out from down here.
Can I get a stealth roll? Oh, wait, no, you said you're going to stay down here, so I don't need a stealth roll. So, all right. Let's go back up top. I want to check in and see. So, Gaga, you've drawn a lot of attention. Gusto, was there a plan? You see that Zan has been left alone to sort of her thoughts. And Zan, what are you doing? How are you preparing for this performance?
I'm just sitting and meditating on what comes to my heart based on what I've been told, based on my experiences in the astral sea and all of the stars. And I have a moment of clarity, and I feel ready.
All right,
and I open my eyes to let them know.
Hang on, I want to ask Gusto. So Gaga has drawn attention. Gusto, you're sort of hidden amongst the crowd. In the shadows. Zan is preparing for something. What are you doing, Gusto?
Gusto, seeing Zan and seeing the creative juices at work, will stealthily make her way over and give a little comforting to Zan.
Can I get another stealth roll, Gusto?
I'm assuming that would be a disadvantage.
Yes, please.
Oh, that is a very stealthy 7.
That's still better than the 6 I got. Despite the honk, no one seems to notice Gusto except you, Zan, who can see the little the Arsarin sort of hidden in the shadows. What do you do, Zan?
I just thank you.
Gusto gives a feathered thumbs up. Gusto is here for you in whatever you need.
I guess the question then is, Zan, what are you doing?
I have a poem and a song that I have composed for you.
Ooh. All right. Zan, I believe the stage is set.
Okay. When one would gaze and dream to the stars, it doth matter not if thou art mortal, fey, or more. The things in which thine heart desires shall come to thee.
And as
kind, I'm not done. Fate is kind. She endues to those whom love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longing. As a bolt unforeseen, fate intervenes and sees thou through. When thou would gaze and dream unto the stars, thy dreams befall truthfully.
Zan, can I please get a performance roll from you? But as you read your poem and perform this beautiful song of longing, fireworks are exploding around you and punctuating the notes. So, Zan, can you tell me? Oh, no, Zan. No. Oh, okay. The fireworks look great up in the sky above. But suddenly, Zan, you are interrupted by Bloodbeard, who just starts shouting, "Stop! Stop! For the love of God, stop or I'll rip your throat out!"
You didn't like it? I know. I just did it in like, what, a minute? I'm sorry. I know I could do so much better.
That is what you call music?
Yes, it was lovely. It was beautiful.
I think your music was so bad it ruptured the stars themselves and they were exploding.
But
Gusto.
did it affect Draxos?
Go ahead, Gusto.
Gusto, upon seeing this, will attempt to quickly cast Enhance Ability with Eagle Splendor for advantage on charisma checks to Zan, and then step in front of her and try to scare Bloodbeard with a frightful honk.
Do it. Give a frightful honk.
While staring her right in the eyes. It is a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, I think Bloodbeard's fucked. As this giant goose suddenly steps forward and makes that noise, Bloodbeard, who is ready to rip out Zan's throat, is suddenly like, "Holy shit, where the fuck did that come from?" Zan, you suddenly feel your charm and charisma grow. You feel more confident in yourself than you've ever felt before. What do you do?
Well, of course, I just performed the most amazing thing I've done.
Okay.
I just look at Bloodbeard and I say, I understand that you haven't heard something as beautiful as that, and I trust that you and I both know and believe that Draxos and all of the heavens themselves heard my plea of love for you and will listen.
And as you're saying that, music begins to play. Guy. Zan, quickly, take up your recorder and play along with the music. And now there's a sweet light show echoing across. And
there once was a crew from the West Ren that flew on an airship called the Wild Wind. The breeze blew her up and her bow dipped down. Oh, blow me hearties, blow. Soon may the Bloodbeard come to loot our sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, she'll take our booty and go. She'd not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a dragon bore. Bloodbeard called all hands and swore she'd take those stars in tow. Soon may the Bloodbeard come to loot our sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, she'll take our booty and go. Before the boat had hit the air, the dragon's heart came up and caught her. Bloodbeard sired, harpooned, and fought her when she dived down low. Soon may the Bloodbeard come to loot our sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, she'll take our loot and go. Flute solo.
Oh, flute solo. Can I
No
please?
line was cut, no dragon freed. Bloodbeard's mind was not of greed. She belonged to the lover's creed. She took that ship in tow. Soon may the Bloodbeard come to loot our sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, she'll take our booty and go. For 40 nights or even more, the line went slack, then tight once more. All crew were lost, there were only 4, but the dragon still did go. Soon may the Bloodbeard come to loot our sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, she'll take our booty and go. As far as I've heard, the fight's still on. The line's not cut and the dragon's not gone. Bluebeard makes our regular call to swoon the dragon crew and all. Soon may the Bloodbeard come to loot our sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, she'll take our booty and go. Soon may the Bloodbeard come to loot our sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, she'll take our booty and go.
May I please get a performance roll from the two of you?
Oh fuck, a natural one.
Oh my.
I got an 18 this time.
And Bloodbeard is just sort of looking at both of you confused. Like he looks at you, Guy, like Guy, you're on another ship, and he's like, where the fuck did that ship come from? How is it playing music? But he looks at you, Zan, and he's like, that was actually better, but I still would like to know where the goose came from. And it's he's sort of really confused. And then Bloodbeard opens her mouth to say something, and the oncoming storm is racked with explosions as the cannons that were within the cargo hold fire upward through the deck of the ship, and the ship begins to disintegrate around all of you. Guy, I believe you're still in the wild wind, but Jank and Gaga and Gusto and Zan, this ship is literally disintegrating around you. What are you doing?
I'm going to book it to the top, yell at Zan, we need to go, and try to take your hand and jump off.
Can I get a dexterity roll, Jank?
$14.
All right, Jank appears. He yells, "We gotta go, Zan!" Grabs your hand. Can I get both of you? I essentially want a contested athletics roll to see who's stronger here.
22.
6.
Yeah. He just starts pulling you towards the edge of the boat, and he's gonna jump overboard. Gusto and Gaga, lots going on. What are you two doing?
Gaga will warm up very fast and then hit the closing time gong, and then activate the goose wings and fly away from the ship.
And I'm assuming, Gaga, you will be doing the same.
Gusto will be staying momentarily to ensure that Jank and Zan make it across to the other ship. Also to keep Bloodbeard distracted. She's feeling a little, she's getting a little egotistical because she's scared of a massively scary pirate.
Totally cool. So Jank and Zan, Jank, you leap overboard.
I'm committed to the bit. Leap of faith.
Jank, you leap overboard as Zan, you are pulled overboard, and now the two of you are falling. I'm not sure what the plan was here. I don't know where this is going. Somebody tell me how you don't fall to your death.
I'm maneuvering the wild wind to try and swoop in.
Can I get a dexterity roll from you, Madam Fortune?
Gaga would also cast Featherfall on one of the non-winged people to make them a little bit slower, at least.
Excellent. Then can I get that dexterity roll at advantage, Madame Fortuna? Meaning roll again.
11?
Ah, yes. So now one of them is Which one did you cast it on? Zan or Jenk? Tell me who's falling slower than the other.
The first one to speak out loud.
Jen can get it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Jenk, you are falling slowly. Jenk, can you give me an athletics roll to hold on to Zan?
Can I like cling and like backpack him?
Roll 20.
Big deck style.
You know, that's more than enough. You grab on, Jenk holds you, so you would have fallen past the ship, but luckily with Featherfall and the deft maneuvering of Madame Fortuna, you manage to swoop in and you land safely on the wild wind just as Gaga and Gusto arrive. And as the oncoming storm explodes above you and rains down, Madame Fortuna, go ahead and give me another dexterity roll, and let's get this ship out of here.
3?
All right, you are driving like a madman. The ship is essentially in free fall. Can I get every single person to give me an acrobatics roll as Madame Fortuna essentially crashes the wild wind into the Drain River? Oh my gosh. So all of you, as the ship hits the water, there is a bellow from the treant. You are all thrown from the deck and luckily land in the water. Luckily, I crit failed on my roll, so anybody above 1 did just fine. You guys pull yourselves out of the water, your squishy little shoes echoing along the streets as you walk back to the Goat Theater, and as you arrive, the bard comes storming out of his office, and he says, "Why the hell did a kobold fall through my roof?"
It's the greatest show of his life.
And thus ends our episode.